So we're going to talk about the Odyssey R32s, the Odyssey R25s, and the Odyssey R15 Forks. All three of these forks have the Odyssey 41 thermal lifetime warranty. And what is the 41 thermal lifetime warranty, you ask? Well, this is exactly what it is. It's a 4130 chromoly manufacturing process that starts at the design stage and it carries on throughout the manufacturing and is only completed when we reach the finishing steps. There are an endless amount of variables to fine tune, and every action along the way counts and matters, okay? Essentially, the reason that the 41 thermal warranty is important and the 41 thermal thing is important is because these are some of the very few forks available on the market with a lifetime warranty. And what you'll see by this little graph here is this is normal, okay? It's normal for companies to cover manufacturer defects. If I have a kink frame and it cracks and it's determined that, okay, this is because of bad manufacturing, they're gonna take care of me and they're gonna help me replace that frame. If it's deemed that it was not from a manufacturer defect, if they're like, no, this frame was made perfectly, you just messed it up, they're not gonna cover it, they're not gonna help me out. S&M's, there are like pretty much any other brand is gonna do that. They're gonna cover manufacturer defects and that's it. And so what I think is especially important to mention here with the Sunday or with the Odyssey parts is look at this. Bends, okay, that is not manufacturer defect. That is from you being too heavy or you riding too hard. Cracks, that is also not usually a manufacturer defect, or breaks. And with the 41 thermal warranty, they're gonna cover all three of those. And what you'll note here in the fine print is it says external forces such as cars, tornadoes, sledgehammers, etc. are not covered because that would be absurd. And that would be absurd. I don't know why they put in tornadoes. Yeah, I don't know why they put tornadoes in there, but whatever. So anyway, what I'm getting at here is that these forks are important to talk about and important to consider if you're thinking about buying forks as an upgrade, because if for some reason they break, you're gonna be able to get a free replacement from Odyssey. I have forks, I think the ones that are on this bike on the bottom behind me are Barrick's old R32s, and he's had those for like 5 years and I've had them for another year on top of that. And if they do break, I think we could finesse a warranty out of them, but they're not breaking. That's what I'm getting at. This stuff is super strong. So that's the 41 thermal warranty. And I guess it's also important to mention all of these forks have a Stampy, they go hard with the Stampy test. And so let's check this out, okay? This is whack. All right, this is just whack. So they get their stuff, they put them in here in this press, they tighten it down, okay, and then they attach it to this this hydraulic press thing, and they try to break it, and they try and they try and they try. And this is more pressure than's going to be put on it, like if you were riding it. And then these are competitor forks. I wish they would call out who they are. They look like Fit. They definitely look like Fit forks on there. But what they're saying is that these competitor forks broke and the R series forks with the 41 thermal warranty kept going a lot longer. So look at this, over 900,000 cycles before those forks failed. The second best competitor was like a third off. That's insane. And so anyway, they really put them through the stress to ensure, because think about it. Think about offering a lifetime warranty on something that breaks all the time. If I had a product that I was selling you and I knew it was gonna break all the time, there is no way that I would offer you a lifetime warranty. And so you'd have to put them through some strenuous testing before offering that warranty, and that's what they go through. This is serious stuff, and it's absolutely insane. But anyway, let's get started with the R32s. So the 32 on the Odyssey R32 stands for the offset, and the offset is essentially how far your front wheel is going to be from directly under the head tube. It's how far out your front wheel's pushed out. 32 millimeters is stable. Okay, 32 millimeters means your front wheel is 32 millimeters away from your head tube, and it's going to give you a more stable and a slow steering response, okay? And look at this. Wait, that picture says R25. That's crazy. But anyway, these are the 32 forks right here. They're expensive though, and that's the thing. Is it worth the $174 for these forks? That's ultimately what you've got to decide, but I'm gonna go ahead and say absolutely, because if you keep your receipt and your forks break, you're gonna get them replaced. And so think about it as like a one-time purchase almost. Like buy these forks one time, and then if you need more forks because they break, you're good. If you need more forks because you want a different color, not good. All right, but they have that 41 thermal lifetime warranty. The compression bolt is going to be a 6 or an 8 millimeter Allen key. Most of these are 6 millimeters right onto the top. And the cool thing here is that the threads are on the inside of the fork. So sometimes you're going to get forks that have a star nut pressed in there, or they have the threads are welded into the actual tube of the fork. And this just causes a bad experience. They can strip out a lot easier and the strength isn't there. So what I've noticed with the R series forks is it compresses good, it doesn't slip, and you're solid, okay? And that's a really important thing too. One bad thing I want to mention about these forks is if we look right here at the legs, they're not super wide. And so if you are riding wider tires, like for me, the Demolition Hammerhead tires would rub pretty easily, and I had to pull them off even farther from the teeth here. I had to pull them out farther so that they would connect, so the tire wouldn't rub. And that's one thing that I think, I don't know if they just haven't innovated with the bigger tires over time, because these forks have been around for a long time, or if making room for those bigger tires compromises the integrity of the forks. I don't know what the deal is, but I know that that bigger tires you're going to run into an issue with. And that's just a heads up, okay? The other thing is they're a little bit heavy. You can find lighter forks. These aren't terribly heavy, but they are a little bit heavy, okay? And then the last thing I wanted to mention here is that you can get these in black or chrome. But if you get them in chrome, you better save up some money, because the chrome ones are $209. In my head, there's no instances where getting a chrome part is worth another $30 or $40. Just not worth it to me. Maybe it's worth it to some people, but it's not worth it to me. They look good. They look good, I'm not gonna lie, but man, that is a lot of money for a pair of forks. That is crazy. Now, like I said before, they're gonna theoretically last you forever. Okay, aside from the R32 forks, there is an F32 fork, and that is very similar. The difference here is you're gonna notice these brake mounts. And these allow you to put good, strong, sturdy, stoppable front brakes on your forks. A lot of people think of front brakes as like the ones you'd find on a Walmart bike, where it just screws through a little hole in the fork and holds on. Like, those are super dinky. They're not gonna stop very good. There's no point in having them if those are the front brakes you're gonna run. What do you think the F stands for? Let me know in the comments. That's what I wanna know. But these F series forks allow you to put U brakes on them. And that's gonna, and they're gonna stop good. So for flatland, you do need to stop good with your front brakes. Like, they're not just for looks, and that's gonna be very important. And there aren't very many forks that have the option here for these 990 mounts. Okay, now, so those are the 32s. 32s have more offset, and that's gonna be the difference between the R32s and the R25s, 7 millimeters of offset. The R32s are the most stable and controlled, feeling forks in the R series. If you want a little bit more responsive, getting more responsive forks is going to make nose manuals easier. And if you've ever ridden a bull, you notice how you're riding and then you steer your front wheel a little bit and it like instantly engages into that turn, like it instantly snaps into it. That is from a more responsive front end, whether it be a steeper head tube angle or a smaller offset, or a combination of the two. Personally, I like the 25s. 15 is way too snappy for me, and 32 makes it harder to nose manual. And so I like the 25s, but ultimately you're gonna have to play with it and figure out what's gonna feel best for you based off of how you feel on what you're currently riding. But these are 25 millimeters from here all the way to here on this fork leg, 25 millimeters of offset. They're snappy, they're responsive. Same thing here, compressed with a 6 millimeter or an 8 millimeter Allen key. They're threaded into the tubing, and they're the same price. There's also a chrome option for $209. The Odyssey R25 forks weigh the same. Is that the same as the 32s? Yeah, they weigh the same as the 32s. So ultimately, if you're looking at these, you just have to decide, do I want responsive? Do I want average, or do I want mellow? Those are your three options there. And the chrome is again, stupid expensive. It's important to mention here one more time, look at, there's so little clearance here. So if you're riding anything like 2.4 or bigger, I think they make 2.5s now, these are gonna rub and you're gonna have a tough time riding fat tires on them. But aside from that, very strong, very durable, and very reliable. I have these on the top bike. So I have 25s on the top bike and 32s on the bottom bike. And then I think I have another set of 25s in the garage. I could just grab them and show you guys, but that's okay. These are also done, the 25s, the 15s, and the 32s all have that stampy process that we're talking about, and the lifetime warranty. With these 25 millimeters, they also have the F25 with the 990 brake mount, just like the 32s. They're just gonna be a little bit more stable. And so this is what you need. Look at this. Oh, it's so easy. We just pop the button and we can add our front brake kit to the cart with these F25 forks. If you're rich, you're gonna go ahead and get these chrome ones because you're rich, and they might as well be made out of gold. Oh good, this is a good picture. So this is what I mean. You see how it's completely hollow in here, and that's because the threads are on the inside of that tube for the forks, and then the threads are, you know, on the outside of this bolt. The bolt's super light. It doesn't add hardly any weight compared to some other ones. But anyway, that's exactly what that looks like. And sometimes you'll get one centered and sometimes you'll get this one here. Either way, it doesn't matter very much. They're still gonna tighten the same and they're still gonna compress the same. Okay, so that's 32, that's 25s. Now, let's look at the R15s. Boom, R15s black. They do not have an F15, that's not an option, you only get the R15. Okay, and so these R15s, like I said, are 15 millimeters of offset. Look at that, R15. That means from here to here is 15 millimeters. That front wheel is gonna be really close to directly under you. It's gonna be snappy, it's gonna be responsive, and in my opinion, it's gonna be too responsive. I wouldn't go, for me, much steeper than 22. If you lean forward for a nose manual, think about it. Your front wheel is, instead of out here, I wonder if I have a good example here. I don't have something to show you a good example on. But instead of your front wheel being here and like making it harder for that to get up into a nose manual, it's right here. And so the tipping point is a lot quicker. And that's what those forks do with that short offset. They have the 41 thermal lifetime warranty. The bolt is going to be a 6 or 8 millimeter Allen key, just like all of the other ones, and they weigh the same. These are, again, super strong forks, and only get these if you're really technical. If your riding is very technical, I'd say lots of technical park, like Logan Martin type riding versus Corey Walsh type riding. You want to be snappy, you want to be responsive, and you want to pop up into that front end a lot. One more thing to mention, then we'll be done talking about forks, is if you are in the nose manual. So shorter offset's going to make it easy to pop into the nose manual. Longer offset's going to make it harder to pop into the nose manual. But once you're already in the nose manual, you got to think your balance point is going to be very twitchy if it's a responsive fork. So with the 15s, you are in the nose manual and you lean just a little bit forward, it's very responsive. And so if you see people do like a nose manual or a manual and it looks like they're just humping the bike all the time, they've got a very responsive front end, because just a slight shift of their weight causes it to pop up and move. So they've got to counteract that a lot, and they just look like they're humping the bike. If you look at people in a nice controlled nose manual or manual, they've got a more mellow offset, so that it's not as detrimental when they shift their weight a little bit. It reacts a lot slower. And so those are just a bunch of things to think about when you're considering the fork offset for you. But ultimately, if you guys are looking for a serious fork to upgrade, to add to your complete bike, or just to replace whatever forks you have, you can't go wrong with these. I've ridden Colony forks, I've ridden S&M forks, I've ridden Fit forks, and I've broke every single one. These Odyssey forks, I've been riding secondhand ones for longer than I rode any of the other forks that I rode, and the new ones I have no issues at all. And so I wanted to make this video to point that out. The Odyssey R series forks are absolutely incredible, and they're worth every single penny because of that 41 thermal lifetime warranty. So there you go.